The number of students participating in Indiana's private school voucher program is at an all-time high. 70,000 students used a publicly funded voucher to help pay for tuition at a private or religious school in the 2023-2024 school year. That's according to a study by the Indiana Department of Education. That's a 31% increase over the previous year and the largest ever jump in a single year. The state also put a record $439 million in tuition grants to private schools. There are now 387 schools in the state participating in the program. For a look behind the numbers, we're joined by Eric Weddle, the managing editor of WFYI's Education Desk. Eric, what was behind this surge in the number of students using the voucher program this year?
Sure. I think you can break it down to like three main reasons. The first is there used to be 8 kind of pathways you had to qualify for to be eligible for a voucher. Those are now gone, and the only basic requirement is that you have to be an Indiana resident. From that, they expanded the income level. So now a family in this previous school year making up to $220,000 was eligible for a voucher, and that is, almost nearly the entire state. Only about, I think, 8% of people in Indiana make more than that. So effectively, the changes in the law in the past year made this a universal voucher for private schools. And on top of that, I think we're just seeing a new increased popularity in school vouchers and school choice. In Indiana, this program is 13 years old, and across the country, we're hearing more and more about it as other states adopt these laws, and the debate among lawmakers at all levels of government is playing out.
What impact do you think it will have? This is a move of almost $500 million to private education. What effect will that have on public education in the state?
Sure. I mean, this is kind of a complicated question, I think, to really get at a simple answer. When this program started, you were seeing more students leaving a public school district, and in Indiana, funds follow the students. So when those students left a district, that money went away. As this program has evolved over the years, fewer and fewer students who ever went to a public school began using a voucher. Not to say that that did not impact schools, but the state legislature has budgeted in this past fiscal budget year, enough money to cover the cost of the vouchers. The $439 million is actually coming in under budget. But with that money being spent on private schools, it's not available for increases to public school districts. And I think that's a lot of the criticism that you hear, is that a larger increase is going toward these private schools that is not going to traditional public school districts.
I'm wondering how this plays out in rural areas.
In the report, in the rural areas?
Yes.
Rural areas, there's only 63 counties in the state that have private schools. So that is leaving out, 200 and nearly 30 other school districts, or 230 other counties that don't have access. So we're seeing a lot fewer number of rural students have access to the private school voucher program. Those students usually use another type of school choice, which is transferring to another public school district than their own. But there are currently a few online private schools that the students could use for that. But overall, there's not an equal opportunity for families in rural parts of the state to use the vouchers.
All right, thank you, Eric. That was Eric Weddle of the Education Desk at WFYI in Indianapolis.